My name is Tracy Evans. This morning we're going to put a main line on a Grove RT9150. To start, we want to be 60 feet from the boom tip to our new cable. Now, if you're not keeping the cable that we're pulling off, this isn't necessarily a factor. But before we put it on, you have to be 60 feet from the boom tip or 120 feet from the car body, always. We're going to start with setting up our spooling unit. First, we're going to put our walkways down. This is our chain drive assembly. I'm disconnecting the chain. We push down. That will disconnect the chain. This is our pull-off spool. That's our install spool. We're installing. Start at the top. Push the chain around. Make sure your chain tensioner is on. Whenever we get to the boom tip, those two pins that are right up there, always got to make sure those are removed. So that way when we're pulling off, we're not rubbing and cutting into the pins. We're gonna take, I'm gonna pull this out hand over hand. The end of the whip still right there. By doing this, you're pulling off twice the cable. Work smarter, not harder. Always keep tension on this cable when you're pulling so it don't back spool on the drum. What I've done here is put a staple in the drum, put our cable in the drum, get it ready to spool up. We're gonna look back at the crane, make sure we have a straight shot from the boom tip to the drum. We're gonna keep the hammer handy. We don't ever put our hands on a used cable, or any cable for that matter. We'll use this to control the spool job. Let's go turn on the machine. All right, our machine's on and warming up. We're gonna let that warm up for a minute. We're gonna go have a talk with our operator, go over at JSA. All right, guys, we're gonna go over to JSA. This is my friend Kirby Smith. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna do all this tension. I'll just start putting that standard. We're gonna up, down, stop. When we get down to about that bed layer, you can slow it down a little bit for us. We'll get it down to where it's got 1 or 2 wraps, and then I'll stop my machine. We'll get the rest off and give us the slack. We'll get that old cable out there. You have all the control over our machine. If you stop, it stops us. The faster you go, the faster we go. Any questions from you? All right, let's lock it in. Now, I plugged into our drum. We had our JSA. Let's go over the controls. This has a neutral setting, you can feel it. This right here is gonna go reverse. This right here is gonna go up. This right here is your tensioner. If I screw that out, this is our accelerator. If I screw that out and I lift up, the cable's not going in there. Now as I put pressure on this, nice and slow, we start moving. No, we have about 250 pounds of pressure right there. Okay, now that we're tight, we can go ahead and pressure up a little bit more here. Let's pull about 400 pounds of pressure. We're gonna start pulling on. For this right here, that we don't put our hands on the cable. Broken wires, anything, grab a hold of these plugs. He's up in the drum right now. He's pulling that cable out. So as he pulls that out, we're going to go ahead and get the next cable ready. So that way, as soon as he's done, we're ready to put the new one on. The cable's up there, he's putting it in the drum. When it comes time to tension, we're going to tension this T-bar up. Until we get it hand tight. You don't want to put too much weight on this, because when he starts pulling, that cable will suck down in on itself. It's not what we want. One layer, okay. 2 layers, not okay. And you can control all that right here with your tension. Whenever we spool these cables on, we're not giving them their working tension. We're giving them enough tension to spool into their crane. Whenever they're done, they'll put their parts in their blocks, they'll scope all the way out, they'll go down to the floor, pick something up 5 to 10% of the working load of that cable. At that point, they'll be in the lagging, and that is when they'll get their actual working tension on the cable. Okay, folks, that's the completion of this RT9150 made by Grove. You can see we got the blocks re-reeved, the crane's open at this point. We'll go over, we'll have them sign our ticket. We'll explain to them that before making their first pick, that they'll need to boom all the way out, drop the cable all the way down until they're in their lagging, and pick up 5 to 10% of the working load limit. And they need to pick that up and bring it down 4 or 5 times in order to season that cable so that it sets right on their drum.